Hello friends, it is Trish from Dish Kitty Studio and I am here for my Bob Ross video. This is week number 10. Here's the card for this week and it says, we just show you how, but you make the decisions. When you have this much power, you have to make big decisions. So, I have made some big decisions. Let me show you some things that I have going on. First of all, I have really kind of had the urge to crochet and knit lately. Okay, so this is a big Afghan I started a long time ago that isn't finished. And it's just made out of scraps. I have not worked on it in so long, I don't even remember like what kind of stitch I was using, what pattern. I don't remember anything about it. So I've got that. That's happening. But let's take a look at just the amount of like scrap yarn I have. These are like some little tiny balls here in this bag, all different colors. These are mainly like worsted weights, but they're in that ballpark. These are also mainly worsted weight, but they're all, like this is actually a partial skein, it's not a full skein. I've got, look at all these little balls, like it's ridiculous, okay? So there's all that. This is like a giant, huge ball of black. I hope there's not too much glare. Okay, and in case you thought that might not be enough, I have this whole thing too. These are partial balls. This is all just cotton. So 100% cotton scraps here. I have kind of started making a couple of dishcloths here because there's not really that much here. And I think I can just knock out some scrap dishcloths quick and get rid of this. So here, this is just mainly, I hope there's not too much glare, mainly like fingering weight scraps. There's not many here because I do have a fingering weight Afghan that I'm working on. I showed that in my weekly dish video and I'll link it down below if you want to take a look. But mostly these are just like little tiny bits. I'm not even really sure why they're in this bag separately. These are kind of like either 100% wool or there may be like some novelty yarn scraps that are not ones I would use in an Afghan or something like that because they're not washable wool. So these are just all different, whole big mess of, another big mess of who knows what. So, now just to give you a little context, the reason I have all these little tiny balls of yarn everywhere is because I used to make mittens. I used to knit mittens and I sold them. And they were like scrap mittens. So just so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to insert some photos here for you to look at. But basically, I would just make, and I sold them on Etsy, and I sold them for about $30 a pair, and I sold lots and lots and lots of them until I just got completely sick of making scrap mittens. But during that time, I managed to collect all of these tiny little balls of yarn. So let me insert those photos and you can take a look at them. So you can see they contained all, they were sort of kind of like a color family or some sort of, colors that work together. I did custom pairs too, so I would let people choose which colors and then I would make them, a custom pair of scrap mittens. But you know, because of that, I have a zillion tiny balls of yarn, and I'm not someone who's going to throw it away. So I've been kind of going through what I have and trying to figure out what to do with it. So I do have yarn in another place, and I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna take the camera over there so you can see the rest of the yarn that I have. Okay, so in my studio I have this giant bin. This is even more yarn. So here is, I've got all these knitting needles. A lot of this is like, here's more needles, more needles. I have every hook and needle ever made. In here, a lot of this is like brand new. So look at, this is a set of 3 brand new skeins, never touched. Had those for probably 10 years. This brand new ball, never touched. This here is a whole bag full. I think it was like it's probably like 10 skeins of this one yarn. I want to say it is, I know it's like Vicky Howell stuff. Vicky Howell collection. I think it might be, oh, it's called Love, Bamboo and Silk. So there's like 10 skeins of this in this bag. There's that. I have 2 ginormous balls of this. These are brand new. This is like ribbon yarn. And keep in mind, here's another ball. I gave away, or I just like donated a ton of yarn. This is just the stuff I kept. I gave away a lot of stuff. Here is a beautiful ball of Debbie Bliss, some silk wool blend, more needles. This whole bag here is all hand spun, not by me. It was given to me, hand spun. These are 2 balls of linen, brand new, never touched. This is 1 skein of Malabrigo, beautiful hand-dyed wool yarn. I got this at a show, a knitting show, Stitches, and it was like a free gift. It was 10 years ago easily, probably 15. I've never touched it, didn't know what to do with it. It's not really enough, you know, to do much with. Weird, you know, novelty yarn, weird novelty yarn. So because I was making these mittens, I have like held on to every strange and unusual little scrap of yarn. These are something I bought, let me see. These are Noro, but it's weird, like it's like a string yarn. Is it elastic? It's not elastic. I bought these on a whim. I think I have 3 balls total here. Bought those on a whim because I thought they were so pretty. Never touched them because I have really no idea what to make with them. So you can see that I have a problem. Okay, so you can see that I have a pretty big problem on my hands. So back to, sorry if you can hear my cat screaming, she thinks it's dinner time. So back to my big decisions. I believe what I am going to do is I am going to frog or just unravel this entire afghan, and I am going to take all my tiny little balls of yarn and I'm going to put them all together into 1 bag, maybe 2, depending on, like, you know, the different weights, because there's only so much I can do if there's like a fingering weight and a worsted weight. You know, they just don't, they're not quite so compatible. So then I am going to group them into kind of color groups or colors that work together, sort of like my mittens. But I'm going to make scarves, I think. Scarves, infinity scarves, maybe some shawls depending on how much yarn I have. So step 1 is unravel this. Step 2, group the yarn together into bags so that it's actually usable to make some scrap projects. So I'm excited about scarves because scarves will give me, and shawls, give me more of an opportunity to use some of the novelty yarns. You know, you can get away with a novelty yarn. You can mix washable and non-washable easily in a scarf and just, you know, make it washable. But, you know, an afghan that's not washable is kind of a pain in the butt. So I've got 1 project kind of started here. So you can see this is knit. This is a, this bag is full of mostly worsted weight yarn. I'm using a US 10 knitting needle set, and what I did was I just kind of went through quickly and pulled out yarns that are mostly in the blue family. So this is what I've got. I think I cast on 28 stitches and I'm just knitting every single row. Very simple. Easy to pick up if I don't work on it for a while, and I won't be, you know, struggling to remember what the pattern was. So that is my goal. That is what I'm going to work on this week. I am going to work on, and I will kind of show you the progress as I go along. I'm going to unravel that afghan into the tiny balls that it started as. I am going to put the yarn all into one or maybe two bags depending. I don't think I have a ton of yarn, you know, scraps laying around that are not worsted weight anymore because of my fingering weight afghan. I think I've got some stuff that's much heavier weight, like real chunky stuff, but we'll see. And then I'm going to kind of, you know, put them together into groups and make some scarves, some shawls, depending on how much yarn there is. And I'm going to put them into bags like this, and then I will have stuff ready to go. I've got this one started, this project here. Basically what I did was, I don't know if you can even tell because it's very subtle color difference, but there's a texture difference. So I already changed colors once here, and I basically just kept knitting until I ran out of the ball, and then I just wove in a new ball and kept going. And that's what I'm planning to do with this whole thing. So I'll be back probably to show you my ginormous bag of scrap yarn, and then hopefully I will have a little bit more cohesive you know, project groups laid out too, so stay tuned. So I'm back, and I got the that afghan I was working on completely unraveled, and I added all those balls here. This is all of the scrap yarn I have. I just wanted to take a minute to, I mean, holy smokes, look at this. This is ridiculous. Look how wide this baby is. This thing's huge, and it's chock full. I have like every color of the rainbow here. I did put the yarn I had pulled aside for the blue scarf in here because I have so much blue. Like, here's a couple big balls, like really big, that came out of that blanket that I just unraveled. And because those balls are so large, I think what I might do is redo that scarf I started, but do it lengthwise so that the rows will be, it makes more sense with larger balls of yarn to do it vertically instead of horizontally, if that makes sense. So basically, instead of the scarf going this way, I'll make it really long. Like, I'll have to do it on, what do you call it? I'll have to do it in the round, like with a longer needle. I can't even think of what they're called, but you know, like the needles that have a tail that are attached. And I'll make it really long because I think it will just make more sense. So anyway, next step will be kind of sorting things out. I see I have a lot of pink and purple. I have quite a bit of green. So I don't know, I've got a lot of like neutrals, like white, black, brown. I think there's some gray. This one here is like a variegated ribbon yarn, but it's a neutral. Here's some tan. So here's a nice neutral down here, if you can see that. So I don't know, the next step is gonna be to kind of go through what I have and play around and see what colors work together. But I do think I'm gonna unravel this as well and come up with something else. So anyway, I'll be back once I have a better idea of what I'm doing and get some more sorting done. But holy smokes, this is crazy. Hi folks, I'm back, and I have organized my yarn both tiny balls and such into some kind of color groups. So I want to show you those. This is basically, I did take some of those like single balls that I had in my drawers and added those into these two. So you can see this whole bag is all basically just pink and purple. I love these. There's a ton of yarn in here. This is a really big bag. These are probably some of my favorite colors. This one is actually, maybe it's more blue. Maybe it should go with my blues. I don't know. I'll have to decide. But I think there's enough yarn here that this is going to end up being a shawl. But I haven't done anything with those yet except organize them. This is probably my favorite group. I love these colors together because, let me try to dump these out so you can see them all together. This reminds me of like a fire in my fireplace. I love these, but I haven't done anything with them yet either. This is going to make a really pretty scarf though, I believe. Blue. You saw these. Basically, I added a couple more things from my drawer there that were just single balls and stuff like that. I did redo this and I did keep it the same format, but I'm using much larger needles. This is a US 19. So I am doing these really large needles and 3 strands of yarn together. So I think that gives a very, when you're using 3 strands of yarn, if the knit is too tight, you'll end up with a really thick fabric that's not going to feel nice when you're trying to wrap it around your neck. So this is a very nice texture. It's beautiful, like squishy, soft. It's perfect for a scarf. You can see I've already kind of changed some colorways, and because you've got 3 strands together, the transitions are very nice because I just basically keep going till the yarn runs out, then I add 1 new strand with the other 2. So it gives you a really nice mix. And I'm also, I don't know if you can tell, but if you don't know anything about knitting, this will be really boring, but I am kind of mixing up the stitches. I'm basically, for the most part, knitting every row, but occasionally throwing in a purl row. And then I even started to, here you can see, like the last row I did here, a couple rows back, I did knit 2, purl 2, just to kind of mix it up. I think it gives it a really beautiful texture, and it gives it a little bit more squishiness and makes it a little bit more interesting. So that's what's happening with my blue. Oh, by the way, let's see, what does this look like? I don't know. Do we think that's more blue or purple? There's honestly probably enough here that I could use a little bit with both. I'm going to keep it in here since I'm already working on the blue. Next up is green. So I did go ahead and start this one already too. This is a crochet project. I'm using, again, a giant crochet hook. Same concept, 3 strands together, and you can see how, I don't think I've changed any colors yet here, but you can see how it's got that squishy, soft kind of texture. And I'm doing the same idea as the knit project here. So I'm doing triple crochet, some half double crochet, even some single crochet, just to sort of mix it up and give it a little bit of different texture. So here's what these yarns look like as a group together. And again, I did go and add some of the single balls and such from my drawer to sort of fill this out. And I like the idea of having, like you can see there's some kind of novelty yarn in there that's got a little bit of texture to it. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to keep working on these projects, and I will probably be back to update you on how they're going before the week is over. But this is my focus at the moment. So I will be back to show you how I do. Hi everyone, I'm back. I wanted to do a quick little conclusion for this video. So you can see I am wearing this blue scarf. I finished it. I got it done this morning. It's quite long, you can see. I usually don't film in my studio using my webcam like this because it's always such a mess behind me, but I'm doing it anyway. So it's all done. You can see it's got tons of texture. It's very squishy. It's very soft. I did go ahead and weave in all the ends, and I wanted to show you if I can find it. Oh, I added this little button right here in the corner. It's a really pretty like blue shiny button. I just sewed it on the one corner just for a little fun. Why not? I have probably like every other person that is a crafter of any sort, I have a big box full of like spare buttons. So I thought, why not make this a little bit cuter? So this is done. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, to be honest. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll give it as a gift. I might keep it for myself even. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I want to show you the green project here. I am still working on this one. It's gotten a lot longer since you last saw it. The great thing about these scrap projects and using 3 strands of yarn like that, you can see how long it is. Gosh, it's got a lot of color changes, so there's a lot of, you know, loose strands hanging from it. But you can see it's gotten quite a bit longer. This is almost done. Still working on it. I think I am going to, I actually have enough blue yarn. Here's all the blue I have left. I think I have enough to make another scarf. So I may go ahead and just make another scarf like this. And then I think I'm gonna cast on and make one like this. I think I'm gonna do knit again since these needles are free. And same kind of idea, 3 strands of yarn with the big needles and make a quick scarf. So that's my plan. I want to go ahead and draw the card for next week. Let me grab my cards here, and then we'll see what we're working with for week number 11. I also have, if you keep watching at the end of this video, I've been really bad, and I apologize, about sharing other people's work that are kind of taking part in this project as well. So I'm going to do that at the end of this video. You can stick with me and watch and see from the past 3 weeks stuff that other people have done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a card here. I'm going to take this one right here. Oh, it's another one with a lot of words. Bob is wordy. This one says, you know me. I think there ought to be a big old tree right about there. And let's give him a friend. Everybody needs a friend. So that's the card for week 11. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you following along, participating if you have or if you plan to in the future. Remember, all you have to do is use the hashtag 52happylittleweeks and share your work on social media. Any kind of art is acceptable. I won't turn anyone away. Also, again, watch till the end and see what other people have done using that hashtag and using these Bob Ross cards as inspiration. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a great week.